Hi everybody, and welcome to my video today. Today we're going to talk about a subject that's a little controversial, I would think. It's about the pitfalls of prepping. Now, these videos aren't as popular as prepping videos because prepping videos is extremely popular on YouTube. And the more you prep and the bigger you prep, the more views you get and the more people are interested in, because it's interesting, you know, when you come home with a truckload of things and you talk about prepping in the end times, and times are going to get bad, and food, no food in the grocery stores. Well, all of these things, I love prepping. Prepping is in my heart, and I do lots of prepping videos, and I'm going to show you lots of prepping videos. But I'm going to talk a little bit about the pitfalls of prepping and how prepping can actually turn into a psychosis type of mentality. And here's why. A couple years ago, prepping was really getting momentum because of the pandemic and all of the things that was happening. And it is very good to be prepped. I mean, those of us who were prepped, you know, we didn't feel it as much as the other people who had no reserves of food and items like that. But in the last couple years, I really took a look at my prepping, and I have a lot of prepping done. And it got to the point where I was so engulfed in the news about things being bad, about, you know, there's not gonna be no more food, our food's bad, our food's doing this to us, our food's doing that, prep now, do all of these things. While I think there's a truth to all of that, sometimes you have to look and think, okay, what is acceptable and what is excess? You know, what is too much? What is hoarding and what is acceptable? Now, I'm not a hoarder, but I had hoarding tendencies because I am the type of person who wants to take care of everything. And so when I heard that, you know, oh my goodness, you can't, this stuff's gonna happen, that's gonna happen, go do it now, I was one of the first ones out. We gotta go to the grocery store. Hubby, we gotta go to the grocery store. We gotta stock up on this because it's gonna be bad. And so there you would find me in the midst of things being bad, running to the grocery store to stock up on food and things like that. And there's a fine line between all of it. Well, then it got to the point back in January, it was just so overwhelming to me because I had so much food. And I want to make sure I can take care of my family, but when is it becoming part of your life to a point where it's obsessive? And it comes to a point of your life where you got to be watching it every day and seeing what's happening. These things happen a lot with different things. Negativity can really affect us in many different ways. And while it's good to be prepared and it's good to prep and it's good to be knowledgeable, but when it gets to the point where it's a fear tactic and you become afraid and you do things out of fear, then that is when it becomes a problem. And for me, I'm just talking about me. I'm sharing with you what I've been going through. I've been going through the fear, different things in my life. I would see things that people would say and do, and then I would become very fearful on it. And then I would counteract that. And I was running around, trying to counteract all of the fear that I was facing in my personal life, in with prepping, and with everything. And then I realized, wow, take a deep breath, Tessie. Where is this all coming from? And how can you learn from it but not get to you that it's obsessive? And that was my situation. So I share with you, and you're going to keep seeing videos because this is my life journey. So whether I have a YouTube channel or not, this is what I'm doing. The fact that I can turn on my camera and show the world my lessons and the things I'm working on, embarrassing moments in my life, I only do that so I can help someone else out. And so I took a step back again and I realized, okay, this prepping, I love prepping. I've always been this way. Even when I lived at home as a little girl, I wanted to make sure my parents were stocked up on food. I'm a foodie. I love to eat food. I love to buy different kinds of food. But it got to the point where it's like my rooms were getting smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller. And you found me sitting in this little corner of my pantry because the food was above my head and on the floor and all around me. And I was like that, like, okay. And then I was trying to figure out, how can I tilt my camera a certain way, this way and that way, so they won't see how bad my hoarding has got. And it's a lesson learned. And so we are eating up this food, and I'm learning, okay, one, inventory. Inventory, inventory, inventory. Know exactly what you have, and know exactly what you need, and know exactly what you can use. Well, I had an inventory in my head until it got like this. And then it got to the point where it was impossible to keep an inventory. Seriously, it was impossible. And so then I decided, okay, let's go through this food. And I'm still working on it. This is not a quick fix. So it's like you gain 100 pounds and you want it off in 2 months. Well, it doesn't work that way. So I gained 1,000 pounds in food, and I want to work it off, and it just takes a little bit at a time. But the difference is absolutely amazing. I have more space in my home. There's more airflow. It's just, I enjoy being in my pantries again. It hasn't got so claustrophobic with me. So, like I said, you are going to see me buying some food and buying things. I love buying food, but I only now go and look at the holes in my preps. So where can I prep a little bit better with this? Where can I prep a little bit better with that? No, I'm not going to buy 100 pounds of beans because it makes a good video when I have 500 pounds of beans already. And that's, I think, a challenge of YouTubers, because they know what videos do really well. I know exactly what videos do really well. If I'd go out and buy 300 pounds of beans, that video would go crazy and it would pay for my beans, but then I got all these beans. And then you get to the point where it starts to just, you know, it's like a domino effect. It just starts falling, 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 and then you become more overwhelmed, and then it becomes stressful. I have videos coming up taking food from the grocery store and turning it into long-term storage, like corn. I need corn. I don't have corn in my preps. I'm running low in it. And so you're going to be seeing that. It's a very unusual video, but I realized that I cannot continue to just have hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of jars of food and pounds of food and hundreds of this and that, because eventually it's going to catch up with you. All of us, it will. And how long can you prep this food? So you have food storage and it says 20 years. That's great. You've got a nice assortment of food that's going to last 20 years. But how much more do you keep buying and buying? They say stockpile to the roofs. Well, that's feeding into some people's fear, and that was me. And so stockpile to the roof, when you get to the roof, then what do you do? Tear down your barns and buy bigger barns. Tear down your house, buy bigger houses. When is it enough? When is it too much? That's for you to decide. You know, only you know. I'm not preaching to you at all. I'm preaching to myself, and I'm showing all of you my flaws in my thinking, because the flaws in my thinking was, I got to prepare for 10 people, 20 people, 30 people, 40 people. I got to prepare for 3 years, 5 years, 10 years, 20 years. And the thing is, eventually we're getting older, and eventually it will get to the point where it was too much. You have to decide what is your enough and what is your too much. Prepper Princess a while ago got rid of her long-term food storage. Now, I wouldn't get rid of it like that, but she did, because she, it was just too much. She changed her thinking on some things. I'm not sure if she's prepping food or not. We do want to prep food, and I do believe in having a year. Absolutely 100%. Try to have a year worth of food. But if you're going to 5, 10, 15, 20 years and you're just stockpiling food because all of these YouTubers are telling you to do so, you just gotta weigh your words. You gotta weigh your mentality and think to yourself, is this reasonable or is this becoming obsessive? And it depends on your personality. There are some people out there, they aren't obsessive. They couldn't be compulsive or obsessive. And then there's some people like me who could become obsessive. Like, I gotta do this, I gotta do that, I gotta do this all the time, What are they doing here? What are they doing there? It's competitive and it's just obsessive for me. And I realized less is best. Oh, my house is full. Don't get me wrong. I love my home. I am never gonna go to be a minimalist, ever. But if it gets to the point where your house is caving in on you and you feel like you just can't, when I say caving in, not literally, okay? figuratively. You know, when you feel like you're being suffocated because all this media is throwing stuff at you, telling you this and telling you that, and you're getting all this and getting all that, and it's to the point where you're overwhelmed and it's caving in on you, figuratively, not relative, figuratively, you know. I have to be more specific or somebody's going to be like, oh, her house is caving in now. I'm like, no, my house is not caving in. The wonderful world of YouTube, right? I sure have a lot more to say, and this is going to be continued. I hope everyone has a great day. See you guys again tomorrow.